Hey, kids, we're a couple of annoyed grunt boys, and this is the 138th Simpsons podcast.
I'm a sucker for you. Yeah. Say the word and I'll go anywhere blindly. I'm a sucker for you. Yeah. Any road you take, you know that you'll find me. I'm a sucker for all the subliminal things no one knows about you. I'm a sucker for you.
That's right. We're the podcast that explores the American animated sitcom The Simpsons from seasons 11 and beyond. Why 11 and beyond, you ask? Well, we know there are tons of podcasts out there that explore the golden age of Simpsons, that being seasons 1 through 10. So we thought explore the new episodes, the newest episodes when we can. And when we can't, we explore the Wheel of Random. But we have a new one this week. And I say we because I am an annoyed grunt boy, Steve. With me, as always, is my other annoyed grunt boy,
Craig.
Hi, Craig.
Well, Steve, it's been a week.
Yes.
If you guys have been listening to this podcast in order, as of last week, there was a cliffhanger. Steve and his job were on the line. Everyone left, but it left Steve with questions. So let's get back to that chilling adventure that we call Steve's job. Steve, take it away.
All right. So yeah, as we left last week, all of my employees left, and the next day they all showed up. One actually quit, who was unrelated to the incident. The person who was involved with the incident is suspended, probably pending termination, and our HR person probably is going to get fired, and everybody else is just pretending like nothing ever happened.
Why would the HR person get fired?
I don't remember if I knew this element of the story, but evidently when the person who was in the meeting with the manager, when it was found out that they recorded the conversation, the HR person physically grabbed them, which you don't do as an employer, and you certainly don't do it as an HR person.
Oh.
From what I can tell, I still haven't gotten the full story, but it seems like a bad situation that everybody handled poorly.
Are you saying that we can continue the story next week?
Yes, maybe. Stay tuned.
So gripping.
Yeah.
It's just millennials acting out like they always do.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, Gen Zers really more.
Gen Xers.
Yes, those wild Gen Xers acting up again.
Gen Xers that should be our like leaders right now, but they're not.
Right, because we keep on electing
baby boomers.
Yeah, because they're so cool and they won't die.
So your job is still secured.
Indeed, and I personally didn't lose any employees. And we're going to keep on keeping on, and we'll see what happens.
Are you saying that your stock of beverages will still be around? I could go and purchase?
Indeed. In fact, one of my favorite beverages is beer, and that'll always be there for us. Which reminds us, it's time for our favorite segment, the Simpsons Beer Corner. Well, I'll start with my beer. As you know, I try to associate it with the episode, but since we're doing new episodes, I don't always know what the episode is about before watching. But I know that it had to do with an octopus, and an octopus lives in the ocean. And so I got Ocean Man Baltic Porter from Block 15. I hear that they originally had it called Seaman, but was less popular because nobody wants to drink Seaman. So Baltic Porter comes in at 8%, and it's a style originating from the land surrounding the Baltic Sea. Ocean Man is a bold, rich, and highly drinkable ale. Earthy, malt-sweet aromas are on full display, paired with pronounced flavors of roasted coffee, dried plums, and dark chocolate. Lager yeast cleans the finish to create a decadent beer as dark as the bottom of the ocean. So,
wow.
Block 15 out of Corvallis, Oregon. Super dark. Oh, nice. Really rich and malty. Not super sweet. Really strong coffee notes. This is the kind of beer that I always bring to the table, but I'm glad that I do. This is a good one. Block 15 has done it again. Just a super solid porter. Even though it's 8%, I could have a couple of these. I recommend it. What have you got for us, Craig? Kids and vodka. Yow.
Yeah, I tried to associate a beer with this podcast. I think last couple ones I've been pretty successful.
Mm-hmm.
This week, not so much.
Okay.
It was dumb. I was like, oh, this is easy one. The guest actor in this episode is Kerry Washington. Her last name is Washington, the state that I live in. And there's plenty of breweries from Washington. I could have said, oh, from a brewery in Washington. Nope, I did the opposite and just grabbed this random beer that I've been wanting to try for a while. It's called the... Oh, it's a Belgian beer. It's from Belgium, Steve.
That tracks, yeah.
Maridosu. It's a Benedictine beer. It's a triple. But we got a 10% alcohol by volume. It reads as, maybe it's a triple, is a high fermentation Abbey beer, brewed in accordance with the Benedictine tradition of community and Mariduce Abbey. The beer is re-fermented in a bottle. Okay.
Ooh.
Oh, it should be served at 42 to 50 degrees. Today's barley malt. Okay. I think everything's good. So yeah, I'm going with non-American beer. The bottle's very fun.
It is.
It's kind of like a little like jaunty, short and stout bottle. Not kid friendly at all because it looks like a beer bottle.
Mm-hmm.
I've had this in my fridge for like a month and I've been wanting to drink it. So here we are.
So the abbey that this is made in is an actual abbey that was built in 1872 by Pope Leo the Ninth. Well, he didn't build it. Pope Leo the 13th. He didn't build it, but he raised the status of it. And now the beer is brewed at Duvel Morgat, which is nearby.
Steve, I think this is my favorite beer I've ever drank.
Wow.
I fucking saw Jesus with this. Oh. At 10%, and we kind of say like the high alcohol content beers on this podcast, like we can only do like maybe one or two.
Yeah.
This doesn't feel syrupy. You get a nice fermentation. It's bubbly. And this is beer. This is what beer should taste like.
Wow. Yeah. That sounds amazing. Like I've had some good like Belgian beers, like some good triples. And yeah, when you hit the right one, it sounds like you did. That's amazing.
I highly recommend this. Since this is not a local beer, like most of the times we review local brews and it's kind of hard to find. If you go to any of your major cities there in America that has like a Total Wine or a Bevmo, they're probably going to have this. Look in your Bavarian beer section. Oh man, Steve.
Yeah,
you're going to love this. You need to like, this is on my list. I mean, every time I go to Total Wine more, I'm getting some of this.
Yeah, I'm going to seek this one out because it sounds amazing.
Oh man, it must be the re-fermentation that they do in the bottle. So they ferment it and they re-ferment like that's, and it gives that bubbly. Wow, this is that's beer.
Yeah,
best beer I've had. Well, maybe
but you're saying it's up there.
I mean, it's no Budweiser next level, whatever. You know.
Right. No, few things can be.
It's not the Scorpion Tails of beer. Well, I'm going to be jazzed to be drinking this beer, Steve. Let's just talk about what's going on in the world with The Simpsons.
Alrighty, let's check out what was happening in just a couple days ago on April 24th. What was the number one movie in the box office?
The number one movie was a cartoon movie. Who watches cartoon movies, right, Steve?
Losers, that's who.
Yeah, it's called The Bad Guys.
Yeah.
Steve, I don't know if I'm going to watch The Bad Guys.
I feel like I won't. It feels like a movie that you put on the back of the minivan to get your kids to shut up.
My kids.
Yeah. So I said your kids.
Yeah. Well, we didn't go see The Bad Guys. I kind of wanted to see that Nicolas Cage movie. I was hoping that was going to be number one, but just
maybe next week.
So maybe next week.
Yeah.
Steve, what were we jamming to on our Spotify?
Well, Craig, the number one song on the Billboard Hot 100 was First Class by Jack Harlow.
I've been throw up the sex in and I can put you in. I can put you in. I've been throw up the sex in
All right. Jack Harlow. Isn't that the character from Boardwalk Empire?
Yeah, the one with half a face.
Yeah, Jack Harlow. That was his name, right?
I think so.
No, that was Jack Houston. Was the actor.
Philip Marlowe.
Yeah, Philip Marlowe. No, what was his name? It was Marlowe. Marlowe's ghost. Harlow. Wait. Jacob Harlow? Jacob Marley.
Bob Marley.
Bob Marley. That's right. Bob Marley. Yeah, that's... Do I miss the Glass Dragon? What was the name of that band?
Glass Animals.
Glass Animals?
Yeah. I mean, this song sounds like if you were to have a TV show where a character becomes an annoying pop star, this would be the song that they played. Like,
we're looking at you, Jesse and the Rippers.
Yeah.
Full House.
Like, it reminds me of like
Match
the after
Club.
party. Yeah, leave it alone. We're talking about Carolyn Omine today, so don't go too hard. But in the after party when
Benny
what's his
Schwartz,
name?
blue guy.
Yeah. Or like Allison Bree's husband.
Oh, Zac Efron.
Yeah, close.
No,
Dave Franco.
John Franco. Yeah, James Franco.
When his character is like doing his thing, this seems like the song that he would
Right. It sounds like a parody. Yeah.
Right. It sounds like a fake song to show that you become an opulent dick.
I have that tattooed on my wiener.
Opulent dick.
Yeah, but it just says O and K.
Okay.
This opulent starts with O and then Dick ends with a K.
Right.
Okay, because it's tiny. Okay.
Opulent Dick also sounds like a fancy pornography from the 1970s. That like fancy British men with monocles read. Oh, the opulent Dick.
And you see the lady's ankles.
Yeah.
Well, let's Jack Harlow further into this episode and just watch The Simpsons.
And we're talking about My Octopus and a Teacher, in which Bart has romantic feelings for his new teacher, and Lisa befriends an octopus. Let's
go and I'm going to continue drinking this beer. Steve, I might have to just go to the store and buy more of this beer. This is the best beer ever.
Sounds like a plan. I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to seek it out and I will try it. And we'll continue to talk about this episode. We'll be right back.
And I can put you in.
And we're back. Today we're talking about My Octopus and a Teacher, the 18th episode of the 33rd season. It originally aired on April 24th, 2022. It is episode 724 in the show's run. Your nerd code is UAB F11. It was written by Carolyn Omine, directed by Rod Oliver, and your showrunners are Matt Selman and Al Jean.
All right, Carolyn Omine. I feel like we just reviewed an episode that she wrote. Was that was it Dial In for Nerder? Was that the one we just reviewed?
Yeah, that was the last one.
Yeah. Okay. The Great Money Caper. What was that? Like a few episodes ago? That's one we did. That was the one with. That's a good. Yeah, we liked
that fun episode. Yeah,
you liked it more than me.
That's true.
But the whole Sting parody, Paper Moon parody. Yeah, It is a fun episode. That was like a third episode. She's written so many, and of course, when I was making the joke of Dial In for Nerder, like I probably said like 4 podcasts ago, that was our very first episode where we reviewed.
That's correct.
Hey, have we ever mentioned, like, technically, I'm sure we have, but technically that was like the 3rd episode we recorded, but it was the only one that stayed.
Yeah, we had to fire our old editor because he was an idiot.
Yeah. Well, we hired him. He didn't have a job at the time. I felt bad. And I said, hey, we'll just put this podcast together. And, while you're looking for jobs, maybe you could edit this together. How about that?
Yeah.
And he's all like, well, sure. I've never done this kind of stuff before, even though that the other guy had.
Right.
But, the other guy had a job at the time. But now the tables have been reversed. Now the guy who could edit doesn't have a job. And the guy who does, well, you heard what happened earlier today.
Yeah.
In our intro.
That's right. So we're here.
Yeah. And so is Caroline. Welcome to the show, Caroline.
Yes. And thank you for all these Simpsons episodes and those wonderful Full House episodes.
That's right. All right, let's begin. Steve, did you know that the title, My Octopus and a Teacher, is based off of the 2020 Netflix documentary? Remember Netflix? Everyone's canceling it now.
Oh, yeah, because they have all that great stuff that's totally worth the money.
I was about to cancel it, but then Russian Doll season 2 just dropped, so maybe I'll wait till after I'm done watching that.
See, that's how they'll get you, though, because like I have like 2 or 3 shows that I want to finish on Netflix, and I'm like, oh, I'll be done.
Yeah.
But then, like one other show will come out.
I'll even say it as a Simpsons fan, Grinding Universe, I haven't finished the new Disenchantment yet.
Holy crap. Neither did I.
I think I have 3 episodes in.
Yep, me too.
I still haven't finished season 2 of Space Force.
Nope.
And of course, Russian Doll, I watched the first episode and haven't watched since. But that's it's only been out for a few days since this record, so it's okay.
Yeah, but one of my favorite shows on Netflix is Big Mouth. I don't think I finished that last season that came out like in December, and they now have a spin-off, which I've not checked out, even though I'm sure it's good.
Yeah. Anyways, the documentary was called My Octopus Teacher, directed by Pippa Elric and James Reed. They documented a year spent by Craig Foster, no relation, forging a relationship with a wild common octopus in South African kelp forest. And in the 93rd Academy Awards, it won for Best Documentary Feature.
Wow.
That must have been last year's Academy.
Mm-hmm.
Good job. Yeah, I haven't watched it.
I've heard about it, but yeah, I didn't. I'm really bad at watching movies, especially. I mean, I like a documentary, and I'm sure this is a good film, but I just never.
Is this the one?
My radar.
Is this the one where like they got like married and had sex?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Or am I thinking of something else?
No, you had to buy her 8 engagement rings.
Yeah. No, I'm sure it's great.
Yeah, no, we should check it out.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and cancel our Netflix after we watch it.
That's right. So our episode begins, as it always does, in the deep blue sea. Text appears on screen that says, "My cephalopod soulmate, Lisa, sitting in the kitchen wearing a future nature documentarian t-shirt, tells of the turbulent time that is the second grade. She was given a C in gym for refusing to use a non-vegan football. In search for meaning and extra credit, she found it in the future nature documentarian day camp.
How do you know if a football is vegan? Like, does it not? I mean, do you ask it? Like, do you eat meat?
I think you just put it next to a hamburger and walk away for 15 minutes. And if the hamburger's gone, then you know that football ain't vegan.
All right. I think that's some sound advice.
Yeah.
I like how there's like a soft focus in the background, like in the scene.
Yeah.
She's doing her little documentary.
Yeah. The lighting's really nice. And yeah.
She knows how to Lisa, that is, knows how to composite an image.
Yeah, just good at framing a shot.
Steve, were you in the future nature documentarian in second grade?
If there was, I would have. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, but remember when we were kids, like camcorders were big and they were heavy.
Yeah.
I remember like we had one, and as a kid, like I wanted to play with it, but like I couldn't hold it because it was so damn heavy.
Right.
And then when I got into high school, then I got like, a small digital film camera, and I used that a lot. And now you can just shoot everything on your Razr phone and your Nokia.
Your sidewinder, sidekick.
Yeah. See, one of these days, someone will make a documentary about us. We're gonna be like American Movie Part 2. Sadder, of course.
Yeah, less attractive, less successful. Almost will probably die. Be like Grizzly Man meets that American Movie.
Even the bear's like, I don't want to eat you guys.
Can't do it.
They'll see Crumb and they're like, Crumb is the George Clooney compared to these guys.
Yeah.
Well off.
Uplifting.
Yeah. The Jamestown people come back from the dead and watch us. Like, Jesus, glad we drank that juice. The Adobe Crumb Boys documentary. The blurb on the poster be like, if you come out without suicidal thoughts, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
Anyways, hey, back to the Simpsons, the cheerful thing, right?
That's right.
The documentary day camp, we got Lisa along with Janie, Martin, Lewis Clark, Database, and Hubert Wong. And they meet up with the beach with two pieces of information. One, of course, is they would each produce a 3-minute documentary, and the lunch, of course, would not be provided. So Lisa, armed with a waterproof camera, takes to the ocean and befriends a cute little small octopus. And she initially relates to the Cephalophoid's shyness. But unlike Lisa, most of the octopus's brain cells are located in her tentacles. Wait, so Lisa has tentacles?
Yes.
I like that line. She's like, unlike most of. But did you know that the octopus's brain cells located in those tentacles, they can sense the smell, taste, and even think?
Wow.
Yeah. And Lisa names the creature Molly after her favorite drug. And they quickly share a bond. And there you see Molly's tentacle touching Lisa's tentacle.
Aw. So Lisa watches as Molly uses her natural gift of camouflage to appear as a piece of coral to evade a hungry moray eel. Molly's liquid body then squeezes into a tight rock formation just as a predator attacks. Suddenly, Lisa's narration is interrupted by Marge, who is frightened by the shark on Lisa's computer screen. Marge expresses her concern for Lisa hanging out with sharks, feeling that she should have some land friends, like maybe some jets. It's fair. Lisa continues her documentary voiceover until she's interrupted once again by her mother, who wants to take a picture because she finds the bond between Lisa and Molly to be just so cute. Meanwhile, at Springfield Elementary, an interview is happening.
Your resume is impressive. Very impressive. You won the Tishman Prize for Classroom Excellence and the Fallberg Prize for Cloakroom Excellence.
I invented a new coat hook.
So what brings you to Springfield?
Oh, my husband was hired by the Springfield Symphony Orchestra. He's an oboist. He's not great, but that was unsupportive. He's good. Oboe is hard. See, for 2 years, I taught in Ghana, which was so rewarding, but not so much for him.
Ghana doesn't have an orchestra?
Well, they do, but you have to be really good to play in it. Not that Springfield isn't good. It is a fine regional orchestra, and my husband fits right in. Anyway, that's why we're here.
Would you excuse us for one moment?
Certainly.
Yes, an actual qualified teacher.
And she's stuck here because her husband sucks at oboe.
To be fair, She's right. The oboe is a pretty difficult instrument to play. The reed's so tiny. Yeah.
Don't you have 2 reeds?
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're like small, aren't they?
Yeah, I think so.
There was always just like, because I was in band, but I feel like there was only one person who ever played oboe. It wasn't like, oh man, there's 17 kids lined up to play the oboe and only one person to play the trumpet.
It was the kid who was late to class.
Yeah.
Like, oboe.
But you know what? The oboe is the most important instrument because not for music, but for crossword puzzles, because it's used like every day.
This is very true. Yes. That triple vowel really helps out because I'm not spelling coronet every Monday.
I hate it when, speaking of oboe, going to the word obi, I hate it when it says like a Japanese sash.
Right.
Like just say the easy one on Monday, blank Wan Kenobi from Star Wars, okay?
Like I'm old enough to remember when Director Spike instead of Director Aang.
They're kind of contemporaries, aren't they?
Kind of, yeah. But the crossword used to always be Director Spike, and then they because time passed, Mr. Ang Lee became more popular. I think Bill Shorts just really likes that one Incredible Hulk movie.
Yeah. Hey, that lady, she looks I don't know, she doesn't look familiar at all, Steve.
Yeah, she's new.
That voice might sound familiar to some people who are Scandalous fans.
Yeah. That's Kerry Washington.
She was in the Fantastic Four movies, the 2 with the Jessica Albas and the Chris Evans and Commish Michael Chiklis himself.
Very nice. Yeah,
I think so. What? Yeah, she was the Chiklis's. She was the Thing's girlfriend. Forget her name. The comic books, I mean.
Alicia Masters.
Was that her name? Okay.
Yeah, she's also been in a recurring character in Boston Legal. She was in Ray. She was in Django Unchained. Quite the career.
Oh yeah, she was wasn't that she was the what's his name's reason for that was his journey, right? Django's journey was to get her, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Good movie.
Great movie.
Great. That director, he's going places.
Yeah, I think so.
He's going to get a pedicure or just watch pedicures being performed.
Yeah. Just got to put one foot in front of the other and suck on those toes.
So we talked about last week. Is this going to be the new teacher? Because, there was an episode from a few seasons ago with Sofia Vergara as Bart's teacher that Bart had a crush on.
But no, from what I've read, it sounds like this will be the permanent teacher and Kerry Washington will play the role.
Well, let's see if we approve of this.
Yeah. We haven't gotten there yet, but also there's some controversy because I think at some point in season 29, in an episode that we have yet to review, Ned Flanders was named to be the teacher, but I don't think that stuck.
Oh, that might have been because of was that I vaguely might remember that episode because that I think was kind of like the final tribute to Marshall Wallace's character Edna.
I think so.
Where they kind of finally acknowledge Edna go bye.
Yeah.
Well,
also it's wild that happened in 2013 too. It feels like
it feels like
that long ago.
Feels like season 29 was like 2 seasons ago.
Right.
All right. Well, Skinner slyly tells Rochelle that they are meeting with other applicants, causing Rochelle to tell Skinner that she is meeting with other schools. And then hearing this, Super Nintendo Chalmers quickly hires Miss Peyton, along with, as he grabs his wallet there, $93 and some loose change there as a signing bonus. And of course, Skinner's parking spot. Skinner seems to be fine with it because he'll just park at the yogurt place because, they know him there.
That's cool.
I feel like that comment he made, I feel like that's like his Friday night because he's single now. There's no Edna.
Right.
He just goes to the yogurt shop, and at like 9:01, the high school kids at work, they're like, I'm sorry, you got to go now. We're closing up. He's like, all right. Probably knows the kids too because they were in elementary school.
Yeah.
Gets home. But his mom, Agnes, she's not home. She's out at the bar. She's out at clubs.
Right.
So he gets home. He turns on like the Hallmark channel, watches whatever movie's on, falls asleep. That's Skinner's life, right?
Yeah. I imagine that he eats the yogurt in his car so it doesn't melt. And like as the kids are like leaving this store because they're shut for the night and they're about to, go smoke cigarettes and do teenage things, he just like waves at them in his car
and smiles. Yeah.
Goodbye, children. I got plain.
Well, yeah, he'd be the type that would like bring his own condiment, like berries and granola and nuts to his like, we use these instead of yours.
Yeah, in a dirty Ziploc bag.
I figure he's sitting there eating the whole time too.
Yeah.
Maybe he's like, I better get one for mother to go, but then he just eats in the car. Because then Agnes comes back in from the night out with like some random dude that she's gonna hook up with. Sometimes when he's not home, Agnes is like, let's do it on my son's bed. And that's one of our Simpsons episodes we're going to pitch to Algene.
Yep. Lamb of God gets fucked is what we're going to title it.
Skinner's mom's sense of not sorrow, but blow. Yeah.
So Seymour and Rochelle step out of his office and find Nelson, Milhouse, and Bart at their lockers. Upon seeing Rochelle, Bart has a vision of her with makeup running down her face, asking him, "Are you okay?" So Bart hides behind his locker as Skinner introduces Mrs. Peyton to Nelson and Milhouse. Once Bart is found, he makes a bit of a scene.
Who's that behind that locker?
Just me, Bart. Bart! Bart! You know, like a seal.
You look familiar. Have we met?
No! You are a stranger, 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 overheating, alert, 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 shutting down, self-destruct.
Bart had Skittles with milk for breakfast.
I told him he couldn't handle the rainbow.
All right, real quickly, the
Sure.
last comment there, Nelson.
Right.
Couldn't handle the rainbow.
Uh-huh.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Because if you haven't listened on this podcast before, we have a theory that Nelson and Martin will become gay in the future.
Well, they've always been gay, but they will express their feelings.
Right.
Yeah. And they'll be a couple.
So Nelson was telling Bart he can't handle his rainbow.
Yeah. I wonder how that would be.
Skittles and milk.
Yeah. Like, it doesn't sound like the worst thing ever, but also I worry that the cold milk would cause the Skittles to get a little hard, and I don't like the Skittles when they're really hard.
That's what she said.
Well, if you think about it, like Fruit Loops, Trix, any of those fruity cereals.
Yeah.
Even sell like strawberry milk. So like a fruit milk is fine. So I would just imagine more you just put Skittles in the milk, let it sit for a couple minutes to let the fruity flavor kind of dissolve.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's what's going on.
Maybe, yeah. So you'd more drink it rather than eat it like a cereal.
Yeah, because then afterwards, well, think about it, like, remember when you would take like a licorice, like the classic red vines, right?
Mm-hmm.
You bite the two tips off, like we'll go with like a strawberry one, right? Or the red one. You bite both tips off and then you put it in like a can of like soda.
That's true.
And it becomes like hard and like a straw. So maybe you're onto something.
Maybe, yeah.
Well, it's a good thing. I got you some Skittles and this milk.
Oh boy.
Instead of milk, I didn't have that. I got Diet Pepsi.
Okay.
Instead of Skittles, I got Mentos. So I'm going to put these in here and point it at your face and open it up. And scene.
Perfect.
You see what happened is Coke shot all over Steve's face, neck and chest.
That's right.
Back in the clip. Yeah. But back in the clip, I love Nancy's does a good job of like Bart freaking out, like not knowing who the teacher is.
Yeah.
And that whole animation scene of him just like turning into a robot and then exploding like it was good. I like it.
It feels kind of like classic Bart, like Bart man era Bart, of him being kind of goofy. That's fun. I like it.
Yeah. But what's he has a flashback. What could that be? What did you think when you saw this?
Was she a ghost?
Yeah. She's a ghost, Steve. That's what you thought of?
Yeah.
Fucking
Why not?
Idiot.
What did you think?
I thought I'm gonna wait till I find out.
Fine.
Yeah, I'm not gonna make any judgments. I'm not a judger like you. Who are you? John Hodgman?
That's right. I'm mild-mannered and I used to be a PC or a Mac. I'm a Mac.
He has a podcast. Judge John Hyman. Judge John Hodgman.
Yes. Lovely family-oriented.
Yeah, I'm thinking of a different podcast. Judge John Hyman.
Yeah. Judge John Hyman.
All right. Well, Steve, let's go to the Aztec Theater.
All right.
It has a sign that says the Future Nature Documentaries Film Festival, which only lasts 35 minutes, is underway. Yeah, that's too long.
I know.
As Molly, this is Lisa's documentary that's being shown, by the way. Molly is being hunted by a shark. Lisa tells of her desire to chase the predator away, but then she recalls the documentary oath, which is never interfere. She shows that oath on the back of her shirt, which shows a filmmaker filming a family of ducks as they walk towards a hippo's gaping maw. Just hippo's hungry, right?
Yeah, he's hungry.
Yeah. Lisa's film goes on to show Molly armoring herself with shells, sand dollars, and an empty Duff bottle. Sadly, Steve, that's not enough. Now, all Lisa could do is watch in horror and rack focus on the shark. Lisa tells the camera that she hopes that she left an impact on Molly's life. She then zooms in on her eyes as she sheds a tear, saying that Molly will forever be her celluloid soulmate. Yeah, the crowd cheers. Even Barney, who's in the front row right there.
He's a renowned filmmaker.
Yeah, don't cry for Barney. He's already dead. Anyways, Marge and Homer share their thoughts on Lisa's documentary.
Oh, Lisa, your movie was so sad and beautiful.
That poor octopus. Your movie really makes you think about the wondrous creature beneath the batter and the marinara sauce and the... Lisa's friend.
I think I need some time alone.
Of
Oh,
course.
sweetie, whatever you need.
It's not just a Simpsons thing, and we may have talked about it before, but like they're talking about Lisa's movie when they get home. So like on the car ride home, did they just not speak at all?
Was Bart there?
No. But like like they came home and then like Marge's like, Lisa, your movie's so sad and beautiful. Didn't they think that to bring it up on the way home? I don't know. It's a small thing.
Maybe that's what's wrong with me in real life, because after I go to a movie, I don't want to talk about it in the car ride. I want to wait till I get home.
I mean, it makes sense, but
I hate discussing movies like right after I get out of the theater.
you need a few
Like,
moments.
You need moments, and I prefer, sometimes we go to the movies afterwards. You go get some food or whatever. And that's when you can discuss.
Fair enough.
Have a sitting down conversation setting. Car ride, you could just say a little bit here and there about that.
Right.
But the Simpsons kind of made that joke with, I forget what it was. They won a prize, right?
Oh yeah.
And like they get home and Marge and Homer are in bed. Like, oh, I wonder what that prize was. That's weird that we didn't discuss this in the car ride. Or,
That's true. Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. Maybe they went to get ice cream or something.
Yeah. Hit at that frozen yogurt stand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The place where Skinner was at.
Anyway, Lisa solemnly walks up the stairs, but when she reaches the top, away from her parents, she runs her room with joy. She gleefully shouts that she won an award. She then corrects herself, saying that we won an award, and takes out a jar from her backpack.
Holy fuck.
Oh my gosh, it's Molly. She's alive and just missing one tentacle. They then rewatch the footage of Molly being attacked by the shark, and then Lisa slapping the fish and saying, keep your octopus out of your fucking mouth. Because he slapped her. That's still relevant, right?
Steve, we said we would never make those references.
I'm sorry. You can slap me if you need to. Thank you. I deserve that. The shark then goes for Lisa, but she kicks it with her flipper. Molly points out that the trophy reads most ethical filmmaker, and Lisa regretfully admits that she broke the code and interfered. She then considers giving the trophy back, but Molly flips the award around, and the problem's solved.
It's weird that the sometimes the octopus is an octopus, but sometimes it's not a puss.
Right.
Like the Matt Groening rule of animals be animals.
Yeah, like it'll do like fist bumps and kind of hang out, but then sometimes it's
Steve, how many times does it take to know if an octopus is ticklish?
I don't know how much.
Tentacles?
That's a lot cuter of a joke than I was expecting.
I gave that to myself.
That's good. Yeah, you deserve that. That's good.
I invented that joke. No one look it up.
No.
I'm sure it's worded good like better.
Yeah, I mean, you can only fit so many words on a popsicle stick.
Hey, it was a Bazooka Joe, I think.
Fair enough.
Bit in that Bazooka Joe and it broke my teeth. I think that gum was just made in like the 40s, and then they made so much of it. It's like, all right, just send it out.
They made it once.
Yeah. They've never had to recreate the glory that is Bazooka Joe.
Yeah, there's like some warehouse in Missoula, Montana that's just filled to the brim with hard pink rocks.
Yeah. And some of the best. When's the Bazooka Joe movie going to be made, right? They're making all these other movies. A reboot? Has it even been booted?
I guess not. We'll get a gritty intro, backstory about how he lost his eye.
I'm kind of thinking Chris Pratt is the voice.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
All right, well, let's go back to Springfield Elementary, where Rochelle there wheels a collection of binders, ready to make an introduction. She knows the people she's about to meet will test her first, but it's only because of their terribly sad home lives. I was thinking this is a very funny joke, because these kids, they're not that great.
Right.
She takes a deep breath, and then she steps into the teacher's lounge.
What?
This is my first day, so you'll have to tell me all the inside jokes.
I have a ruptured disc, but I can't afford to stay home.
I can't wait to hear the story behind that.
Huh?
Show of hands. Who here is familiar with project-based learning? The reason I ask, my last school did a project where each grade built a model of one of the new 7 wonders of the world. And for the next month, all subjects, math, art, history, and science, were taught by designing and building the project. If you're undecided, I've got a much longer presentation. Let me grab my puppets.
Look, whatever is making all this happen,
Either adjust the dosage or share.
Oh, I get it. You don't want to abandon the lessons you've already carefully prepared to follow these step-by-step plans.
The lessons are already written out? This is like the HelloFresh of teaching. I can be on cruise control for a month. I'm 2nd grade. What are we making?
Chichen Itza.
Great. I'll start by finding out what that is.
I love the, like I said, the joke in the beginning where she delivers the line of like, they could just come from broken homes. And you're thinking that, she's talking about the kids. It's just the teacher's lunch. Oh, that was a good surprise. I didn't see that coming.
It's a good joke.
When she says, anyone familiar with project-based learning? And then there's like a pause, but then Willie raises his hand.
Yeah.
And I think he probably does know.
Yeah, but I also like that he kind of embarrassingly put his hand down after a moment. Like, oh.
I want to be cool. It's like that one thing when you're a kid and like something, maybe, right, that the other kids don't. So you're about to raise your hand, but like you want to like fit in, so you don't raise your hand.
Yeah.
She just wants to be loved. Wait, no, that's not the point of this character. She just wants to do her job.
Yeah, she's like an opposite Kerbopple. You love your jerk.
There you go.
But she's just not over it. She's still in it. Like she still has hope.
Yeah.
I also like how sassy Dewey Largo was.
It's weird, like seeing. I mean, they do this all the time with new characters that are only one-offs, and like you said earlier, that she's probably continuation. It's like we're used to like Springfield people being Springfield people, and like just hating being a Springfield person.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like a weird, like she's an outsider, and then it's going to have to adapt to the Springfield lifestyle. So it's going to be interesting to see where this character goes.
Yeah, I hope that like she's always like constantly optimistic like that with and then kind of beaten down spiritually over time.
Yeah, not physically, Steve.
No. Anywho, so in the 4th grade class, Miss Peyton starts her lesson by having the students create self-portraits so that she can learn how they see themselves. Martin has done an elaborate sketch of himself looking through an orb reminiscent of MC Escher's hand with reflecting spheres. This informs Rochelle that Martin is a classic compulsive overachiever. She tries to calm him by saying that his artwork won't be graded, but that just causes Nelson to draw more frantically, so she gives him an A+. It's a very good drawing, by the way.
Yeah, because they had to recreate that Escher
Yeah.
picture. Huh. I think they probably just like printed a copy off of Getty Images and took a piece of tracing paper and just even a piece of paper, put it against the window and drew it. I know what you did, Matt. I know what you did.
That's why if you look closely and zoom in, there is that Getty Images right across across his face.
But he still put Matt Groening. That would have been funny if they had that in the image, like Matt Groening.
Yeah.
Oh, that's an interesting question. I know you probably don't have the answer, but maybe someone else out there in podcast land knows that. So if they're introducing this new character of Miss Peyton, and she's going to be an ongoing character, does Matt draw the character originally? Like, just like, like, does he, like, when a new character is introduced, does he go to create it, or do people just...
I don't have an answer, but I feel like at this point he probably has like a very specific style guide, which I've seen, on the internet before about like the core characters. And so they probably just base it off of that. And maybe it has to like pass by Matt's desk for approval or something.
He probably has final say of character design, but he probably doesn't go and like, all right, I'm going to draw the new character.
No, because I mean, I feel like at this point he's created such a formula for what a Simpsons character looks like that, people can do it. I mean, like there's people on the internet who have, just Simpsonized photos. So,
and I think I kind of remember maybe like a documentary or just like one of the behind the scenes of Futurama where I don't know if he even designed all the characters. Like he had, other people drew him, but he had like final say. Because I remember like the one thing was for his character designs is you have to put them in silhouette and have to be so distinguishable in silhouettes
Right.
that you know who they are.
Yeah.
I think she passes the test, right? She
I
has
think
thick
so.
hair, the glasses.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, she has like this kind of fun, like a little bit of Miss Frizzle. from
That's what
Magic
I was
School Bus
thinking,
vibe.
yep.
Yeah, but a little bit more grounded in reality.
Wait. What was not real about Magic School Bus?
I mean, the magic bus was real, but it was also magical.
Yeah.
And
Wait.
so far, Miss Peyton isn't magical that we know of.
Oh, okay.
That's all I'm saying.
Speaking of reboots, were we speaking of reboots?
Sure.
Okay. Is there there was a new Magic School Bus, right? And they made Miss Frizzle like just sexy redhead.
Yeah.
Who
And it
did
was
the
with-
voice though? Was it who did the voice? Was it Kate McKinnon? Or I'm just thinking like she'd be a good live action.
She would be. It was Kate McKinnon.
Oh, see, there you go.
Yeah, with music by Lin-Manuel Miranda.
So up next is Nelson, who's trying to pick some beating up Santa until he's old. Saint Nick becomes his father. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see what that looked like.
I know.
That would have been my T-shirt. Peyton notes that Nelson is violent, but clearly cares about holidays and family. So she figures she could work with that.
Yeah.
Then she visits the old brat himself, aka Bart, who's just squirting glue onto a piece of paper. Mrs. Peyton wonders how the glue is part of the self-portrait, and Bart nervously explains that he's always has glue on his face. So then he adheres the paper to his head and declares that he is Glue Face and that he has slept for 1,000 years. Bart then falls face first into the ground and gets up, and blood starts coming out of his nose. I think that's a fun little nice animated addition there.
Yeah.
And he continues to act up and just like hits the table and falls. So it's some fun stuff going on.
Yeah.
And then after class, Nelson and little Millhouse question his theatrics.
That did not hurt. Take me to your principal. Glue Face want door. Glue Face need restroom.
What the hell is wrong with this kid?
Dude, what are you doing in there?
I know it's not a sidekick's place to give notes, but for the past few weeks, nothing's landing.
Really? I thought Milknose Glittersneeze landed.
No, it did not land. Really hard to look at.
You don't seem in control. We can't laugh at your clowning if we're concerned about you.
Why are you messing with Miss Peyton? She's nice.
I don't know why I do stuff, okay? I don't know why I'm yelling now. I'm not gonna noogie you, but when you think about your actions today, I hope you noogie yourself.
Have you ever noogied yourself?
Sometimes multiple times in a day.
In your younger
Yeah.
days.
Right.
The older you get, sometimes just
What's the point?
I'm loving the paternal Martin in this. No, the paternal Nelson in this episode. Like, just kind of being like a father figure in a way, but like the school father figure, and then he's got his real father guy at home.
Yeah.
I would say Nelson's not being a bully in this episode.
No, I really like the dynamic of Bart, Milhouse, and Nelson. It's like a real Parker Lewis can't lose vibe. You got your Jerry, your Mikey, and Bart is Parker.
But would Nelson be the who is the big guy? What was his name?
Kubiak.
Wasn't Nelson the Kubiak though?
Kind of, yeah, but
because Parker. Okay, who was the cool guy in the Parker Lewis game? He says Parker.
Mikey,
he was the cool guy. So they don't really have a Mikey.
Not really.
Maybe it should be Mikey from Recess.
Oh yeah, he was cool.
Transfer him over.
I always thought that those two worlds would fit well together.
Yeah, because you have the little kid that looks like Mo.
Right.
You have like the nerdy tall girl who's just Lisa.
Mm-hmm.
You have the Spinelli who's just she's Mart or Nelson, right? But like because she's she's not a bully. No, she's the tomboy. Is there? She's the Simpsons don't have a character like that.
No.
Recess did it.
Yeah. Yeah, if you haven't seen Recess, check it out. It's on Disney Plus. It's a
See,
surprisingly good kids show.
When's the last time you watched an episode of Recess?
Probably like 6 months ago.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
There's no reboot?
No Recess reboot that I know of. Maybe a couple of movies, but that were like 2003 or something.
I mean, the last time I watched it was probably like 1996.
Yeah, when it was airing on one Saturday morning.
Yeah. I just remember because
different lives.
Yeah. I still watch old cartoons from the old days, like The Simpsons.
Of course.
And I watched Real Ghostbusters during Halloween times. I always put some of those on.
Nice.
Is there any other cartoons I watch? I mean, like the new Disenchantments, well, not really.
Yeah, not really.
I watched a Bob's Burger the other day.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Wow. What did you think?
Yeah, it's good. I like it.
Yeah.
I watch cartoons all the time. What am I saying?
I don't know. I mean,
I'm just trying to think what cartoons I watch. Here we are.
There's a YouTube channel that just constantly shows old episodes of G.I. Joe. It's just always streaming and it plays them in order. That's sometimes fun to go to bed to.
I don't support the war complex industry of
That's fair.
Joe.
I always rooted for Cobra anyway.
I am more of a G.I. Jane kind of guy.
See, if I can't bring up the slap, why can you?
Yeah, we promised not to make fun of it the day after it happened on the Oscars.
Yeah,
but now it's been a month. We're like, nah, we can talk about it, now that everyone's done talking about it.
Yeah, it's retro now. It's cool.
Yeah. All right.
So we go back home, and the next morning, Lisa's brushing her teeth, and Molly's in the jar, close next to her. The octopus.
Lisa, who's brushing her teeth?
I know. Sometimes twice a day. Weirdo. She does actually, though. You see a lot of that. Molly's in a jar close to her.
Hey, fans out there, do a supercut of just Lisa brushing her teeth. I want every scene ever put together on a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And then show us. I'm not going to watch it, but just do the work.
Yeah, I just want to see how long the video is, and then I'm not going to watch it.
Yeah, that's it.
And you're like, oh, 3 minutes. Huh, okay. So the octopus unscrews the jar and pops out. Lisa's stunned and impressed, but Molly then jumps to the sink and tries to squeeze into the faucet. Lisa grabs her, but it's no use because the octopus is now in the pipes. So Lisa runs down to the kitchen and checks the sink. Molly's not there, but she follows a trail of water underneath the table. Homer's at the table, digging through a box of Krusty-O's, looking to find a free, crazy, crusty ball inside. He then finds his prize, which is actually Molly, covered in the sugary breakfast cereal. Lisa asks for the ball, and Homer happily obliges. He bounces Molly off the table, hitting the ceiling, and then the kitchen counter, and then into Lisa's hands. So Lisa's holding her 8-legged friend, and that she discovers then that Molly's inked a little bit. It's embarrassing when it happens, but it happens to all of us when we ink.
It's like those little tentacle ball things that you pull on, right? Yeah. Homer can be funny sometimes.
Yeah.
As he examines the Krusty-O box that offers an amazing race to know if you've eaten too many Krusty-O's, Lisa suggests that he should eat the cereal, and Homer wonders why he should stop eating. Lisa tells him not to worry, runs to Google some toxicology stuff, and Homer points out kids love to Google.
Sure do.
We never Googled when we were kids.
No.
No.
Yeah, Alta Visted.
Yeah. We asked Jeeves.
Yes, we
honestly we Yahooed.
Yeah.
We're a couple Yahoods. Yahoo! Hey, that was their thing, wasn't it?
Oh yeah. Yahoo!
Great, now Yahoo's gonna sue us, Steve. Unfortunately, we have more money than they do.
Yeah. The 2 cents in our bank account.
Yeah.
Are like yeah, give us some of that, please.
Dan Harmon ruined them. He did. Look it up.
Yeah. Where's my movie?
Yeah. We got a crappy 6th season.
Yeah. Well,
is Community season 6 bad or not? I don't remember.
No, it was different but good. Actually, I think 4 is the only real stinker.
And that's the one Dan Harmon wasn't. If you don't know what we're talking about, Dan Harmon, who created Community, did 5 seasons on NBC, did the first 3 as the showrunner. Then season 4, he left. Someone else took over. I think season 5 he came back, or season 6 he came back.
I think season 5 he came back, but then season 6, yeah.
So season 5 was canceled on NBC, and then Yahoo was trying to get into the streaming services with original content pretty early on in the game because there was only like Netflix and Hulu at the time,
right?
And so Yahoo put all their money into one basket called Community, and it didn't take. And also, unfortunately, there was a TV show which we might have mentioned on the podcast before called Other Space, created by Paul Feig, which was kind of a parody of like a Star Trek, kind of Red Dwarfish in a way. Very funny. Can't find it anywhere. Maybe you can find it somewhere. It starred like so many great people like Eugene Cordero. What's her name? Miliana Ventreba. I can't. The AT&T lady, you know her,
right?
The Mystery Science Theater man himself, Joel Hodgson was on the show. Neil Casey. Who else was on that show? The guy from Deadpool, the taxi driver guy.
Oh yeah,
think of his name. There were some other people too. I can't remember. Other Space. Anyways, that was a great show, and of course, because of Community, Yahoo failed at their streaming.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Karen Sony, yeah. So, yeah, there's a lot of great people in this. Yeah, they were sadly ahead of the curve, and they just nobody bought into it. But
Yeah.
anyway,
If you can find other space on the internet, I'm sure you can. There's probably some Bay of Pirates you can find it on. Do people even use Pirate Bay anymore, Steve? I don't know.
I think it's a uTorrent these days.
Oh, it's not an actual Bay. You go on a ship to find
No, you can actually do it from your own home.
MP3s. Oh, cool.
It is sad though because they don't come in those cool chests anymore, though.
Yeah.
Bart's in his dimly lit bedroom, and he thinks to himself that using an X-Acto knife. Oh, I don't know where this is going. Oh, to make a styrofoam, to make the styrofoam look.
Well,
like
it's
stone.
obviously right there. There's a castle.
I know. I was making a joke. To make
We
the
don't
styrofoam-
joke on this podcast.
All right, I'll be solemn. Bart thinks.
I'll
to
be
himself,
Gamora. I mean,
well, you're upholding that no joke policy.
Sodom and Gomorrah, not go. Yeah, is it Sodom and Gomorrah? I'm thinking of Zoe.
It's Sodom and Gomorrah, not Sodom and Steve.
I was thinking of the character from Guardians, Zoe Saldana's character. Her name's Gamora.
Yeah.
So Thanos was like, I love that Sodom and Gomorrah epic from Earth. I'm going to name one of my daughters Gamora.
I don't know the story, but isn't there some synonym going on in one of those places?
Yeah, Sodom and Gomorrah. Like,
Are they
I
both?
only know from Dogma, the ship monster.
Right. Because I'm just wondering that maybe that's his whole deal is that, like, again, I'm not a religious person nor that deep into the story of Thanos, but
Both religious
right, exactly.
figures, Jesus and Thanos.
But I figure, like, what if, like, the homies over in Sodom are, like, doing butt stuff and Gamora was all cool and being pious. And so
Pious.
God smote down the Sodomites and saved the Gamorreans. And Thanos is like, I could get used to this.
And the Gamorreans are the Gamorrean guards in Jabba's palace in Return of the Jedi. The
one
pig
true
creatures.
religion.
And they're green like Gamora.
That's Amore.
Hey, you know what? Sorry to all of our Christian listeners out there, but I'd rather follow Thanos than Jesus.
Me too.
Josh Brolin can do no wrong.
Yeah, he's even got a scrotum for a chin, and I still like him.
Yeah. He was Jonah Hex, Thanos, and Cable from Deadpool. He's got all the DCs and Marvels in his pockets.
The triple threat.
Yeah. Hey, I forgot to mention this real quickly. When Homer was talking about like fried octopus, like calamari, he was talking about like, this was like 5 scenes ago. I forgot to bring this up, but like the marinara. Do you dip calamari in marinara sauce? Is that the thing?
It's pretty common.
I think it's more like a garlic aioli that you dip the calamari.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's better. I agree with you, but I think that
if you're if you're in an Italian restaurant and calamari is the menu, you're probably getting the marinara sauce. If you're like a seafood restaurant, you're probably getting like a garlic lemon aioli for dipping.
Right, and I think that like for a mid-tier like casual sit-down restaurant, like a the equivalent of a Chili's or whatever, if they have it, they're probably going to serve it with ranch and marinara.
Right. And don't forget, if you go to like an Applebee's or whatever that has the calamari, majority of the time it's actually just pig anus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Steve, I'll let you know that the best calamari I've ever had is Wildfin restaurant. There's a few locations in Washington State. I'm not sure if there's in Oregon. I know there's one like Tacoma, Seattle, and Vancouver. They even call it the best calamari ever, and it really is.
Wow.
It's like thick. Oh, I love calamari. Even if calamari, like for me, like pizza, even if it's bad, it's good. That's with calamari. Like even if it's like crappy calamari, I'll eat it. I love it.
Calamari's tasty.
I love rubbery seafood.
Yeah,
it's nice and chewy, like the Wookiee. Yeah,
exactly.
Anyways,
so Bart's in his dimly lit bedroom, and he thinks to himself that using an X-Acto knife to make the styrofoam look like stone was a really cool idea. He then realizes that he used the word cool to describe homework. He doesn't understand what's happening to him. Just then, an image of Rachel Payton floating in the air in a pink flower dress appears to Bart. And then Bart wakes up and continues on his sculpture. And I know that, Craig, you like to wonder about Bart's bulletin board.
I look.
Standard stuff is normal. Looks like we're in August on his calendar.
Yeah, he knows he's going to bring it up.
Yeah.
So I think one episode, like it actually was like in March or February, which would have made sense. I'm just thinking maybe Bart just never changes his calendar. I don't know. Was that in there?
I don't think so. Here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that this
year.
Yeah, I'm thinking this episode takes place in September, and like the first, I don't know if it still is, but traditionally the day after Labor Day, first day of school, which is usually in the first week of September.
So it's the first Monday after, I think.
Right.
Or maybe like it's sometimes if it's like a Monday, maybe it is a Tuesday. I don't know.
Right. But if that's the case, and so if it's like August, say 4th, you can forgive Bart for not flipping it over on August.
I can't. I just can't.
Well, I understand that. But it would make sense that it was the new school year if she's starting a new job.
So, and then maybe Lisa's documentary thing was like a summertime of group project. Like
Exactly. Yeah.
So she's coming off of first grade. And then we even like, all right. Wait a minute. That doesn't make sense because Krabappel was the 4th grade teacher forever. Does that mean Krabappel was only the teacher for like one day?
That's a fair point.
Steve, your logic is not correct, Steve. I think Bart just never changes his calendar.
Okay.
The reason why he changes it, I got it, because it was February, right? Isn't
Right.
Bart's birthday in February?
I think so.
The only time he would change his calendar would be for his birthday month.
Makes sense.
Maybe December for Christmas.
Yeah.
Anytime you get toys, that's all that matters, right? When you're a
Mhm.
kid. All right. Well, we'll do some more research into this calendar phenomenon. And then I've decided it's not a condom with Lisa's face on it. It is just a dart board type of thing with Lisa's face on it. But he still keeps his like crappy report card up there with like CCC and then, or like a DDDD, then a C.
Yeah.
Which I couldn't see what the I think it's still just all scribbled words. So I don't really know what classes or classes those are grades in.
Yeah. I don't know. So the next day, Miss Peyton discusses the upcoming presentation of the project-based learning project.
This Friday, there's an assembly to present the 7 wonders. Your parents will be there, and they'll judge me based on what you do. But no pressure. Well, a little pressure. Pressure makes diamonds. Anyway, take your projects out and get to work, please. Millhouse, I love how you carved the styrofoam to make it look like stones.
I used an X-Acto knife.
Under pressure, who does she think she is? David Bowie and Fred Mercury.
Ba-da-dee-da-day.
People on the street. Steve, do you want to know what the 7 wonders on the blackboard there are?
Sure.
The kindergarten class is going to do the Great Wall of China.
Uh-huh.
The first grade is going to do the Christ the Redeemer.
Cool.
Second grade is the Chichén Itzá. It's a pyramid in Yucatan, Mexico. The third grade class is doing the Colosseum. The 4th grade, which of course is Bart's class, is doing Machu Picchu.
Ooh.
5th grade's got the Taj Mahal, and 6th grade class. Wait, they have a 6th grade at Springfield Elementary? I thought it just went to 5.
Yeah, I think sometimes it does go to 6.
That's what she said.
So the 6th grade class is doing the Petra of Jordan.
Interesting.
What do you think is the hardest one to do?
Huh.
Did they do that correctly?
I mean, the Great Wall of China is really big, but it's pretty basic.
A wall. That's good for kindergartners. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the Petra is a fairly complex building, like on the side of a mountain.
Is Petra of Jordan the Indiana Jones one?
Yes. Maybe. I think so. Yeah. I mean, the Taj Mahal would be pretty tough too. I think they're fair.
Yeah. So, the Petra Jordan is the one they used in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Which when you just when you just walk in there, it's just like a room. It's not like there's a maze to go find the Holy Grail.
No.
Spielberg lied to us, Steve.
Next you're gonna tell me that E.T. isn't real and the Holocaust didn't happen.
And Jaws. Are sharks even real, Steve?
I've never seen one.
Yeah, I'm walking around on the street every day, never seen a shark. Just the lone varieties, but that's it.
Yeah.
There was a character in Buffy the Vampire Slayer that was literally a lone shark. It was a shark. He was a lone shark.
Funny.
It's pretty funny. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I guess Taj Mahal should be for the 6th graders. I think the Petra of Jordan should probably be for the 3rd. Coliseum is kind of too intricate too, but it is maybe when they're building, it's kind of like a repetitive process.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So hearing that Millhouse used the same technique as him about, the X-Acto knife on the wall, Bart freaks out and stomps on his own sculpture. He then tells Miss Peyton that it was an accident. And then she praises Millhouse, and that's causing Bart to get a little bit more pissed off and takes Millhouse's project, drop kicks it out the nearby window. Millhouse cries out that he lost his fingerprints gluing his work. That was the worst. Like when you get like super glue on your fingers.
Oh, yeah.
Millhouse says that he had to go to urgent care and he saw a drug addict.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And then all the students just push their desks away from Bart and he hangs his head in shame. Just like the Annoyed Grunt Boys do in this podcast.
That's right. Every Thursday, I just listen and get a little sad. So back at 742 Evergreen Terrace, Lisa has replaced Molly's jar with a lockable octopus tank, complete with safety latch, escape latch, and hey, where did Molly go? Lisa hears her door shut, and the chase is on. Lisa runs into Maggie's room where she doesn't see Molly hanging on a mobile. She then heads downstairs to past Grandpa, who's screaming into his phone, which is actually Molly in disguise. And then in the living room, Homer and Marge are watching TV. Lisa rushes in, not seeing that Molly is hiding in that sailboat painting above the couch. Lisa returns to her room, picks up her saxophone, and finds Molly in the horn. Lisa returns Molly to her tank and goes to bed, the octopus turning the light off for her. So yeah, what you were talking about the Mac rating animal rule, like turning off the light is a little humanistic.
Animals just don't know lights.
That's right.
Or do they?
Moths do.
I think you could train your pet to turn off the lights.
Yeah, I mean, people do it for their dogs or to their dogs.
Yeah. I love the my favorite scene of that was the grandpa holding the phone. Just keeps talking. Like that was a good scene.
Yeah,
it was kind of fun. The whole scene was like I was trying to like see where Octopus was supposed to be. It was kind of like find the 5 things wrong with this picture type of game.
Yeah, because like you can see the outline in the opening shot of the living room where Homer and Marge are. You can see the faint outline of the octopus, but she's like camouflaged herself.
I was a little disappointed that when Marge and her husband, what's his name, Homer, we're sitting on the couch. There was no blankets. What happened to their blanket couch?
Yeah, they used to have that blanket fort from like 4 episodes ago.
One of our favorite episodes, the Naked and Afraid, Pixelated and Afraid. Yeah, no, I was hoping that they would be wearing a blanket and it was going to be the octopus. Kind of funny, but no, I think it makes more sense being on the famous Marge Simpson painting of a sailboat.
Yeah,
because it's something an octopus would know.
Yeah, it sees the sea.
Yeah, it sees the seas.
Then it seizes the seas that it sees.
Eats the Caesar salad and then drinks a Caesar and sells seashells by the seashore.
Bad business plan. Before, and I'll say it again. They're literally everywhere.
Sally's just, not the brightest bulb in the oven
drawer.
in the tool drawer. Yeah, not the brightest bulb in the tool drawer. All right. So Miss Peyton calls a parent-teacher conference for Homer and Marge. And then she, starts by saying she enjoys Bart's energy. After a long history of meetings like these, Marge and Homer just know the drill. So Miss Peyton doesn't need to compliment Bart. Marge just wants to know what's wrong with him. I also like how in this scene, the animation, just like the detail of Homer and Marge sitting in little kids' chairs.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of fun.
Yeah.
So Miss Peyton hasn't figured out what's wrong with Bart, though she's tried every intervention she knows, such as
letting him be the teacher,
scaring him straight,
dunce caps,
genius pants,
nagging,
breakfast clubbing,
no recess,
nothing but recess.
Sounds like my TV viewing on a Saturday night. And puppy stickers.
I feel like letting the student be a teacher was a threat that teachers did.
Yeah.
But I don't remember any kid like doing it.
Yeah, I remember like maybe subs would really threaten to do that, but they never actually did.
Right.
I've never seen a dunce cap in real life.
It's just a cone, right?
Yeah, and you sit in the corner and you just feel shame for being dumb.
Why do I feel like that was a thing in one of my classes?
Really?
It might have been.
To me, it feels like such an antiquated thing because I know it from like cartoons.
Yeah. Or maybe they always like threaten to put the dunce cap on you.
Yeah. I mean, it would be really embarrassing.
What are genius pants?
They're the opposite of a dunce cap.
Oh, okay.
So you just, put them on, you feel smart.
So it's Breakfast Club, and she like had a cool, like there was a whole episode parody of the Breakfast Club movie where like Nelson's there, Bart's there, Milhouse is there. I would assume Lisa would be the Ali Sheedy character.
Yeah.
And then who we missing? Okay, so Bart's Anthony Michael Hall, right? No, that's Milhouse.
Yeah.
Is Bart Emilio Estevez? Yeah. Because then Nelson, of course, is Judd Nelson. Whoa.
Oh.
Bender himself. Oh, my God.
Whoa.
And then, Lisa's Ali Sheedy, which I can't remember. And then Molly Shannon. Molly Ringwald.
There you go.
Is Sister Mary Catherine Gallagher. No.
Right.
Would it be like one of the twins or?
That would work. You need this is a little
it would,
weird.
It would be both the twins. Like they would be both.
Oh, that's a good move. Yeah.
who's the popular girls in
I was gonna say you'd bring back Lisa Kudrow from that season 10
I think I go
episode or
with
whatever.
twins. I don't know.
But yeah, the twins are fun.
Because I think Bart's supposed to be kind of a cool looking dude. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, if the girls like him, I mean, they're twins, Steve.
That's true.
They're from Minnesota. The twins.
Right.
Baseball. Hot dogs.
Exactly.
Yeah, who would be the
No, I think that works because you have the twins.
Janie,
vulnerable.
maybe? Janie was her name?
Janie, yeah, Janie would work too.
I've said it before. I think we need to explore the kids more. We just have Martin.
You never don't say that.
I think we need to like dig deep.
Just get your hands deep in
Just
there.
get your hands deep into some kids and explore those kids. Like just raw dog exploring those kids.
Yeah.
Hey, No Recess and then Little Recess, yeah, the TV show, and puppy stickers. Fun.
Yeah. So Marge is concerned because Bart's, always had his problems, but now those problems are turning into issues. Miss Peyton is determined to find out why Bart is acting out. She then asks Homer and Marge to fill out child development questionnaires. Marge kind of wonders why Rochelle needs to ask how long she was in labor, but really, she loves the question, and when asked if it bothers her, she's like, no, not at all. And then back at home, Homer tries to offer some help for his son.
Hey, buddy. I think I know why you've been such an unlikable jerk lately. Someone has a little crush on their teacher.
Someone has a big crush on being wrong.
Come on, boy, open up to me. I get it. I was in love with my school nurse. I would hurt myself on purpose just to see her. I'd fall off the monkey bars, bash my head into a wall, and sometimes I'd even fall off the monkey bars.
Actually, there is something I'm dealing with right now. My dad's an idiot.
Listen, you little... I had brilliant advice for how to handle a crush, but now I'm keeping it to myself.
I've met her before.
So, I've met people. Lisa, Maggie, you.
No, I've met the teacher before. I'm opening up to you.
Oh, okay. Well, go on, son.
Fun, dumbass Homer.
I also feel like we've talked about it before, especially in this season, that Homer is actually trying to be a good parent.
Yeah.
So kudos to that.
Yeah, he's definitely making an effort. And I like that subtle, that's not that subtle, but like he's talking about how he used to hurt himself and he would fall off the monkey bars. And sometimes he would fall off the monkey bars. It's really well done.
I feel like it's going to be a backstory. They're going to have to, Caroline, write that story of a young Homer in love with his nurse.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll get Nurse Ratchet from One Who Flew the Cuckoo's.
Yeah.
Who was another famous nurse?
Nurse Jackie.
Nurse Jackie. There you go. Edie Falco.
Yes.
Or Nurse Who. It's the spinoff of Doctor Who. It's Doctor Who's new assistant, Nurse Who.
But it's a man.
Yeah. Unlike the Doctor Who's a woman.
Right.
Med student Who. All right.
Clinical intern Who.
That's not even funny.
No, it's not.
But it makes
other
me
words.
Anyway, so Bart remembers when Lisa was filming her fish documentary. I like how he calls it a fish documentary. He and Marge would wait on the beach, and he found a sand pail with a fancy nearby hotel. Bart uses a pail as a entry to the Paradiso del Mar guest-only pool area. Bart enjoys living the good life, enjoying some Sunday after Sunday, which it's amazing because you think he hates Sundays.
Right.
Because his mother, Marge, makes Sundays. So Marge's Sundays really do suck. It's proof right here. She doesn't know how to make
anything that he wanted, and he got Sundays.
What does Marge use in her
know.
Sunday? Like, she doesn't have whipped cream, so she puts like sour cream on it. Instead of bananas, she uses plantains that are not cooked.
Oh, yeah.
She puts like, so instead of the ice cream, she puts like in like the non-dairy crappy. I mean, I know some people have to eat it, but it's just not good.
No, and instead of maraschino cherries, she uses cherry peppers.
Instead of sprinkles, she tops it with capers. Wait a minute. Hold on. I might have an idea. What if it's a nacho sundae? We still use like fried plantains as the chips.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking guacamole, like you have guacamole, sour cream. I'm just okay. Well, I think I'm just inventing the 7-layer nachos.
Yeah,
but chips is plantains.
When it comes right down to it, isn't a sundae just a ice cream nacho? Man,
yeah, exactly. Well, see,
all like high stoner thought that sounds like.
Yeah,
I think
when you
think about it.
Like a plantain chip nachos, not a bad idea.
No.
Because you still want like some sweet, savory things to go with it. So you'd put like pineapple and jalapeno on it.
Oh yeah. Ooh, what if you did like a mole sauce?
I'm not a big
Then you
mole
have-
fan, but I think you might be right. Yeah.
Like not the whole thing, but that would offer a little bit of heat, a little bit of chocolatiness.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Because
But I do like the idea of pineapple and jalapeno together too.
What about protein? Alligator.
You could go alligator.
Toucan Sam.
Just follow your nose.
Yeah. Oh, cocaine.
There you go. Makes everything better.
Especially this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
People on cocaine listen to this podcast. Like, man, I need to stop listening to this at 2 times speed.
Yeah.
When really I actually listen at half speed. Makes the podcast go faster though.
It's true.
Anyway, so Bart enjoying those Sundays, and then he's tempted to do a fancy dive off of the Tarzan swing, but his belly is so full of hot fudge it causes him to sink and panic.
Ooh.
Flailing as hard as he could, Bart couldn't tread water, but no one noticed him drowning until she came. Rochelle Payton jumps into the water in her pink flower dress from Bart's vision. As she dives, she loses her blue frame glasses that she got at warbyparker.com. That's right. If you guys need some new frames, go to warbyparker.com/annoyedgruntboys for a $40 million % off coupon.
You get a 5-pair trial. You can try them on, see how they look in your face, and then send them back when you pick out the ones
if
that
you
you
don't
want.
like them. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you don't like Warby Parker, check out frame.com. That's right. Frame.com. Is that a place?
I think so. And if that doesn't work for you, try zenny.com. That's zenny.com.
And if that doesn't work for you, try xhamster.com.
Glasses for adults.
All right. So she grabs Bart and swims him to safety. And then she asks if he's okay. And Bart at first is grateful, but then he sees the crowd of people looking at him with pity and his mood changes.
Why did you do that? I was fine. I'm an amazing swimmer.
I'm sorry. I thought that.
I feel awful. She ruined her dress, and I yelled at her, and my hand went in her mouth for a second. But she doesn't recognize me yet. But when she does, she's gonna hate me. Every day I tell myself to be invisible. Next thing I know, I'm standing on my desk pretending to poop out the class hamster.
What if you told her the whatchamacallit?
The truth?
Yeah, that thing.
You're right. If it were out in the open, she'd have nothing on me. Wow, you actually helped.
I did. You know what? I think I'm finally ready to be a dad. I'm going to tell my wife.
Homer the Father.
Whoa.
That sounds like an episode title.
It does, yeah.
Might have been. It's probably Homer becoming a priest, right?
That's right.
I like that though. I'm ready to be again. I feel like this season, not just the whole scene, but like Homer, like actually being a parent. They've done a good job, I think, of kind of addressing that. Maybe one of like the qualities of Homer being a deadbeat dad is not in line with how we see men in America, fathers in America, because I feel like TV, especially, and movies have painted a negative picture of the dad is always dumb.
Right. And aloof too.
Right.
Like not caring.
And yeah. And I'll see on Reddit too, that sometimes, fathers who take their kids to the park still get stared at. Like you're just there by yourself. What are you doing here, pervert? When
right.
Clearly like they're just there with their kid. And then like the whole, people say, oh, you got the kids today. You're babysitting the kids. Like, no,
right.
They're being a parent.
They're my kids. Yeah. My own kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that Homer is trying his best and doing an okay job as a parent at this point. Like he's not perfect. He knows that, but he's like trying to be better.
Right. And that's all we can ever be, Steve.
Right.
Is Homer.
That's right. That's all we can be. Also, earlier on that clip, Bart was doing a good Bill Clinton impression when he was talking about she ruined her dress and I yelled at her and I even had my hand in her mouth for a little bit, just like what he said to Monica.
You can have whatever you want, Steve.
Okay.
Yeah, you can have this one instead.
You're a real jerk, you know that?
Yeah.
Ay, caramba!
Also, Bart. Ow. The idea of Bart pooping out a hamster is kind of funny, or pretending to.
Okay. Let's draw that.
Yeah. Listeners, draw us an image, however you want it, of Bart pooping out a hamster.
And we'll make it a t-shirt.
That's right. Public.com. So sends the helper, goes to get a drink of water, but the water squirts him in the face because it's Molly who's hiding in his dog bowl. Lisa feels that her new cephalopod friend isn't safe at home, so she decides to take it to school. Meanwhile, Bart is relieved and ready to come clean to Miss Peyton. When Miss Peyton's husband arrives, though, to give her flowers, Bart's sense of relief turns to anger. He lets out a wild yell and pulls the water fountain out of the wall. He then has a moment of clarity. He may just be a teensy bit in love with Rochelle Peyton.
Yeah, another fun animation scene. It's kind of like a shocking moment of like Bart rage. I mean, he talks about hulking out in a few scenes, but
right,
that could probably get him suspended.
Yeah, it would get him in a lot of trouble. I was going to save this for my review, and I'll cover it there, but
woo, spoilers.
Bart's depiction of early puberty is kind of really like something you don't see very often on TV. Of like, no, it's not just about weird pubic hair or getting a boner, but it's also like emotional outrage over things that are out of your control. And I think that he, like, the way that they're showing him is really interesting. So
yeah, so let's just get in with our final act. How about that?
Alrighty.
And our final act begins as every final act in The Simpsons ever does at Springfield Elementary, where the new 7 Wonders of the World presentation is underway. Impressives may vary. Inside, we see the kindergarten's Great Wall of China made of building blocks. We got a paper mache of the Christ the Redeemer from the first graders, dioramas from the middle grades, a tin can Taj Mahal from the fifth graders, the Petra of Jordan as a 3D printed by the sixth grade. Bart runs to his father, played by Homer, to admit that he was right about being in love with Miss Peyton. And then Lisa overhears this conversation, kind of realizing that this dialogue relates to her problems.
Whoa.
Yeah, how about that?
Dad, you were right. I do have a crush on her. I saw Miss Peyton kiss her husband, and I hulked out on the water fountain.
Yeah, jealousy will make you do crazy things. Once, a guy opened the door for Marge, so I keyed his car, which was a school bus. Turned out he opened the door for everybody, except for me after that.
Well, jealousy is going to make me ruin this assembly. I can't stop myself. You said you had great advice on crushes. What is it?
Here's what you need to know. You're a kid, she's a grown-up, get over it.
That's your amazing advice? That's not advice, that's just the truth.
Look, sometimes there are awesome things in this world that aren't meant to be your awesome thing. You gotta let it go. Trust me, there's other fish in the sea.
He's right. And you should also be in the sea, hunting and killing those fish. After school, I'll take you back to your home.
And Steve, after this podcast, I'll take you back to the ocean.
Yay, beach day.
Yeah, this whole scene is probably for poignant, like very sitcom-y, learn your lesson, but in such a funny way.
Yeah.
And Homer's delivery, which sounded like, almost sounded like a rewrite at the end. And like they just added it because the dialogue sounded like disconnected when he just kind of says like, you're young, she's old, get over it. That's just like the best message you could say, because kids will have a crush on their teachers or, you know,
older kids or
right. And the same thing for reverse that.
Yeah.
You're like, Jerry from Subway, you're not the right age. Get over it. Go take a walk off a long pier.
A foot long walk.
Yeah. But yeah, such a good scene with Homer. Again, Homer being good dad.
Yeah.
Tell him the truth. And then like Bart realizing like, oh, you're just saying what is the truth. And like, it's such a good message too, because so many times, again, we're not parents, but it's common for parents to sugarcoat life to kids and not telling them the truth of the world. Hey, to all of our 7-year-old listeners, Santa Claus is not real. It's your mom, your dad, or your dads and dads, or your moms and moms, or whatever your parents are, or guardians.
Yeah.
They've been giving you presents this whole time. There's no man in the North Pole.
Also, there's no God.
What?
Oh, no goddess dressing at Sizzler anymore. So if you want a good Greek salad, you got to go somewhere else.
There's a Sizzler again?
Yeah, they opened it up, but sadly, there's no goddess dressing in there. And I know how much you love your goddess dressing, Craig. So,
and also, there's no President Washington. There's only Kerry Washington,
and she's delightful.
Yeah. Hey, she's on The Simpsons.
Yeah.
But again, fun scene.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah. I really like how they juxtapose the two stories together.
At first, I was like, and Lisa's line of when Homer's like, and there's plenty of fish in the sea. I almost thought like the line was going to be, there's plenty of octopus in the sea. And then Lisa's like, there is, but
No.
their joke was better. Carolyn is a better comedy writer than I will ever be. Like Lisa's like, there is plenty of efficiency for you to eat.
Yeah.
That's fun.
So Bart's worried that his emotions will get the better of him and that he may ruin the assembly. Homer suggests that Bart should focus on inanimate objects to express his rage. Punch a pillow, tear a Kleenex, or do like Homer does and scream into a Pringles canister. Homer tells Bart he can do this and walks away, bragging how parenting is so easy.
I mean, it is.
I mean, yeah.
So as Rochelle reviews her notes, her husband sneaks behind her and gives her a kiss on the cheek. Bart sees this and feels his blood boil, and he remembers Homer's advice. He looks around for something soft, but there's nothing soft around, including in his pants. Miss Payton presents the Seven Wonders project to the audience of parents, and she then introduces her spouse.
I want to thank my wonderful husband, Daryl, who insisted on providing the music. Yeah, I get to hear that all the time.
Oh, man, he's in a band? Oh, I can't compete with that. I need something to scream in.
All right, it seems good too. Just I love the crappy oboe playing and Kerry Washington's delivery of yeah, I get to hear that all the time.
Yeah, I'm so lucky.
But she's so supportive. I love that. But then also like as crappy as he plays the oboe, and then Bart's like, oh man, he's in a band.
So cool.
Like, no offense to you oboe players out there, but it's pretty much one of the dorkiest instruments to play. But the fact that Bart thinks you're cool because you play the oboe.
That was a lot of fun.
So fun. Yeah.
So Bart heads to a pile of backpacks in search of something to scream in. He finds Molly's jar, opens the lid, and lets out a mighty yell. The octopus responds by clinging to Bart's face and covering his mouth. Molly then climbs to Bart's eyes and camouflages herself to resemble Bart's peepers. Bart flails about trying to get the octopus off of him, and while doing so, he accidentally flips the automatic bleachers, which I didn't know were a thing, causing them to...
You don't?
Yeah, is that really a thing?
Yeah, the bleachers would... in high school, we had... Well, most of that switch wasn't as blatant, but yeah, you had like a key that you turn, the bleachers would come in automatic. You went to a poor person's school, you had to pull them out, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
and it doesn't seem like that outlandish. I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
Huh.
Or maybe I'm making it up. I swear I've seen that before.
No, you're probably right. I didn't know that was the thing, but it totally could be.
Actually, I think I'm making it up. Never mind. I don't know. It probably is a thing now.
Yeah, they're probably 3D printing bleachers every day. So people begin to get nervous as their seats slide away from them. And then Bart continues to struggle, knocking over several yoga balls. One of the balls sends the statue of Christ the Redeemer to go off its platform and stomp the Coliseum, which is
so
a scene
good.
that I really liked. Kirk Van Houten then falls into the fourth grade Machu Picchu project, and then he's surrounded by styrofoam specks and tries to brush them away, but that only causes more of them to be attracted, which is so annoyingly good. It's really well done.
Don't you hate it when you're like pulling out, like you go to like IKEA or you get like furniture to assemble, and like, you pull out that piece of wood and there's like little specks on it, like you're building a bookshelf, and but then all of a sudden there's like millions of these specks. Like, how did they get here? Very relatable scene. Yeah, where the styrofoam specks of podcasts.
Yep. Or you try to get rid of us, our episodes just get longer and longer.
Guys, we're on hour 43 of this episode. You know how long we've been recording this, and a lot of it's going to be edited out.
Yeah, to a cool 3 hours, 40 minutes.
Yeah. There's a whole thing that's probably going to be edited out about Steve's adopted child that we raised and, well, went to see it get married and then went to the funeral. Yeah, it's the whole thing. But we edited it out.
Sorry, guys.
All right, so Lisa sees that Molly has escaped her jar and sees the octopus wiggling all over Bart's face. You know, it kind of reminds me of that scene in Bart the Genius, second episode, right?
Yeah, totally.
Where he's swimming in the bathtub and the octopus grabs his face. Is that what it's from?
What it was. I think so, yeah. Thank you.
You were thinking that too, right?
Yeah, there's some image I knew from like classic Simpsons.
Yeah, where he's like Jacques Cousteau, right?
Yeah.
So she rips Molly from Bart's face, despite that the tentacle is firmly attached to Bart's eyelids. And then a yoga ball hits one block of the Great Wall of China, that was created by the kindergarten class. And it results into like a domino effect, surrounded by the other effects of the chaos. Skinner and the rest of the school plead with Miss Payton to stay. The principal even offers Miss Payton to switch classes. But Miss Hoover will not teach Bart again. And she did that 2 years ago. And she pulls her hair to the side to reveal that her hair came out in clumps.
Thanks.
Yeah, not the Eddie Murphy movie Clumps.
No.
After all the other teachers refuse to teach Bart, he decides to talk to Miss Peyton. What about that scene where Chalmers is all like, skin, son?
That's fun, yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, Bart talks to Miss Peyton.
I'm sorry I ruined everything. You probably won't believe this, but I had an octopus stuck to my face.
I believe you.
You do?
Yes, because I know deep down you want to be good. Also, your face is covered in tentacle hickeys.
There's something I need to tell you.
Really? You didn't get your fill of destruction today? You're angry drowning boy. I'm so sorry. That's what I call you in my head. I hope I didn't embarrass you that day. I thought you needed help.
I did, actually. I had 2 sundaes and some curly fries. It made me forget how to swim. Anyway, thank you for seeing me.
You're welcome.
That's why I've been weird around you. Also, I kinda like you. I did homework and I didn't mind it. Barf emoji.
You know, a crush on a teacher just means you're coming to love a new part of yourself that I'm bringing out in you.
So I actually have a crush on myself?
I don't know if that's true, but that's good advice to tell the kids, right?
It really is. Like, I've never heard that before, and it sounds a little like horseshit, but also a really good thing to say to a student.
I think that's what you probably would say to a kid, right? I mean,
yeah, I think it's a really healthy way to.
And it gives them a positive, like, oh, but maybe that's that's true. Because if you have like a crush on a teacher, maybe it's just, I mean, I had teachers of like, both sexes where, but I didn't have crushes on like the male ones. But of course, if they were teaching you a subject that you liked.
Right. Or made you feel passionate about something.
Right. And I think maybe it's just as the opposite gender, you think it's one thing or another. Maybe it's because of like society, right? Like how we're indoctrinated, like boys like girls in the sexual sense,
right?
And you're raised to believe them as like sexual. I'm just overthinking like American history in the sense because we're Americans, but like women are only viewed as a sexual object,
right? Because
of TV and movies that we're raised on, and just. But having like respect for, as a man, having respect or interest in what a woman says, but purely just because of that interest,
Right.
I think
we're not trained to like have that. Yeah.
Right. And I think it's a very positive message now to send to people.
No, I think it's a good point because also, when you're early either like prepubescent or pubescent, you're not ready for any sort of like meaningful relationship, but you're feeling out what you are attracted to. And in a way it is right because you do learn like, oh, I'm attracted to an intellect or something that excites me, kind of to your point. And so you are kind of learning about yourself because
ideas can be attractive.
That's right.
So I think with Miss Peyton's like teaching style but we really did talk about like how like Bart, that embarrassment of when he was drowning. Did we talk about that?
Yeah. I mean, we not a whole bunch. We talked about it a little bit.
But, just like being emasculated, right? And that's kind of what Bart was feeling. So there's a lot going on with this episode, I think.
But yeah, it's a lot more complex than it needs to be. Also, the animation of Bart hiding in his shirt when he tells her that he likes her.
And this is
really
like
well done.
Barf emoji, like seems like something a kid would do, right? Is it something a kid would do? I don't know.
I feel like it would be, yeah.
But us parents, but us old people would know what that means.
Yeah, we don't understand.
Yeah. All right. Well, so after she tells him the things will be less weird between them, Miss Peyton tells Bart that she's staying. That's it, Steve.
No,
staying. So a good teacher teaches the good kids and the nightmares. Not that Bart's a nightmare. I like how Miss Payne's character kind of like says the right thing, but then like try to backtracks not to offend anybody. Like
She's
how
honest
we do on this
and
podcast. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
Bart then tells her that the old teacher had a trick that helped him to stay disciplined. And then, of course, as viewers, we know what's going to happen. This is a fun, like not Easter egg, but is this what we've been waiting for on this podcast? We bring it up all the time. Whoa.
So.
Wait a minute. Yeah. He then instantly regrets his words, and we cut to Bart in the empty classroom writing on the classic chalkboard. Woo! That's right. It says, "I will not express my feelings through chaos."
There we go. So I feel like we haven't seen so many chalkboard gags because, out of respect of Mr. Bobble, because there was nobody to assign them to Bart. But now that he has a new teacher, there we are.
Are they listening to us?
So.
Were they like, these? We're gonna get these guys. This is like, you remember when they rebooted James Bond with Daniel, my name, Craig, like no relation. The gun barrel opening, you know, the da 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 with the gun barrel and the Bond shooting and the blood down. They didn't put those in the Daniel Craig movies. They're like, we're not going to do it. Like the opening, but the Casino Royale, they did it in a funny way. Like that was his first mission, right?
Right.
They did the gun barrel, and then like Quantum of Solace, they did it, I think, at the end. And then the movie after that, Skyfall, they did it properly at the end. And so I think it was like everything was at the end. So what I'm trying to say is now the chalkboard going to be the end gag?
Oh, that would be interesting and harder to do, but I would love to see them try.
The end gag. That's the Avengers porn parody. Avengers end gag. Thanos, bringing back to Thanos, is like, like Thanos in the Avengers movies wants to rid half the population. In the porn parody, he wants to breed with half the population.
Yeah. He snaps his finger and half their clothes come off.
Oh, Steve, porn parody. I'm sure it's been done.
Oh yeah, probably.
So the chalkboard, I think they've been purposely, you're right. They've been purposely just like not putting the chalk gag board in.
Yeah. So,
well, that's it, Steve.
Yep. Except for the credits roll, and it's white text, so we know what that means. We then cut to Lisa in a post-credit scene on the beach, returning Molly to the sea. The octopus dances around Lisa's feet and gently touches her toe. Lisa sheds a tear, and the octopus swims away. Just then, a shark begins to chase Molly, but Lisa grabs that shark and flings it into the air. Database watches the scene unfold with his camera and gives Lisa a derisive look. And then Lisa responds by saying, "What? I'm a part of nature too." Says, it's true, she is, as we all are. And that's our episode.
All right, Steve, I think we have a lot to discuss.
I think so. Let's take a break and we'll talk about it.
We'll be right back.
Alrighty, Craig, we're back. Let's finish up our conversation of My Octopus and a Teacher, and we'll talk about the normal things that we usually talk about. What we want branded on a t-shirt or tattoo or whatever, what we made us laugh, our favorite jokester, and what we thought of the episode. And then we'll talk about what we're watching next week.
Sounds like a plan.
Alrighty, so let's kick it off. What do you want on a t-shirt or a piece of media?
Well, I mean, kind of the obvious t-shirt would be the shirt Lisa's wearing in the beginning with the future nature documentarian.
Of course.
And then the back with the never interfere.
Mm-hmm.
But, I talked about before, I think the Simpsons action figures need to come back with new figures. And now we have a new teacher. Let's bring in the Miss Peyton action figure.
Oh, I like that.
In your playset of the Bart's classroom, you could throw Edna into the fireplace. We don't need her anymore.
Wow.
Yeah. Fuck Krabappel. We got Peyton.
There you go.
Also, I think just for like a more inside baseball type of thing for if you don't know that people get Hollywood people that are like the Academy, right? You get screeners of movies and everything. So I would like a screener of Lisa's documentary. And like when they send the screeners out to like celebrities, like let's say they send it out to like Leonardo DiCaprio, right? So he gets the movie Spider-Man No Way Home, right? But it'll say on the top or bottom say for Leonardo DiCaprio. So for like pirating issues, like Leo's dog would be like, I'm gonna sell this on eBay and make $20, so you can't do that. You know how notoriously cheap DiCaprio is.
Sure.
Yeah. But yeah, so I want a screener copy of Lisa's documentary, but like I want it, the screener copy is meant for critic himself, Jay Sherman, because she wanted to show Jay Sherman her film.
I like it.
Very elaborate piece of merch. How about you, Steve?
I'm going to keep it simple. I like your idea of action figures. I want a glue face action figure.
Ooh, complete with you can also take the head off and it'll be octopus face.
Yes, actually, that's kind of what I was thinking. Yeah, it's a whole line of Bart faces with removable heads, and like you can press a button and like blood will
like Manny faces, the He-Man toy Manny faces.
Exactly. Yes.
See, should we just end this bit and just say what action figures from each episode? Like, let's make play sets and
I mean,
From
it's
when
not
we-
a bad idea.
Who is it? Playmates? Yeah. Hey, Playmates, if you're listening, not the Playboy Playmates, the toy company Playmates that made the
Right.
Simpsons figures in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
I think the
But,
last things they made were like the guest starring figures, right? I remember
right,
seeing
like
like
they
a
made
Mark
like
Hamill.
and a Tom Hanks.
Did they do a Joey Ramone?
Oh, why?
I feel like if they did, you would have had it.
Yeah, for sure. That's something that they would absolutely get.
All right. Merchandise. We love it.
Merchandise. Yeah. All right. So let's talk about what made us laugh in this episode. Who's your MVJ, would you say?
I do like the margin in the beginning about she wants Lisa to have land friends over shark friends. I think that's great. Always Marge like being scared her daughter's watching an image of a shark. Kerry Washington's delivery of starting the job and you're thinking it's for the kids. That's like, just remember they're from broken households. And it's actually the faculty. Love that line. Homer, of course, has some great poignant messages. Of course, with him dealing with Bart. Just get over it with the whole "I love my teacher" line. And again, with Kerry Wash, but that's more of like, I think the funniest gag. Then I'm gonna give my MVJ to none other than Bart Simpson herself.
Yes,
Nancy
queen.
Cartwright. She wins for acting in this episode. Actually, Yardley and Nancy just killed in this episode. So I'll give it to Bart. Bart being a boy, you kind of alluded it to in the episode.
Yeah,
there's some good stuff there. I think that my laugh out scene or my funniest moment, I love just that delivery of just remember. Actually Kerry Washington's whole delivery was pretty good. I love that character of just, like saying like, oh, you guys all kind of suck, even with like Skinner and Chalmers, like, but no, this, like trying to find the positive spin, like kind of like course correcting herself. I like that.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I feel like that's kind of what women have to do anyway, is like they in society these days is they have to like correct themselves so they don't get corrected by other people, which is sad.
I think it's more not, I don't think it's just towards women. I think it's towards everybody, isn't it?
Yeah, that's kind of
we do on the podcast all the time. That's our bit.
Yeah, it's true.
We
but
don't
yeah,
want to offend a thing.
Right. And we don't want to be honest. But I will be honest, and I will say that I also love Bart's Nancy's performance.
Bart.
I love Bart. But yeah, no, he was a lot of fun. I loved his like freaking out, and then just like Blueface was fun. Him turning into a seal, and then a broken robot
Exploding. Yeah, that's another good scene. Yeah.
My favorite scene, I think, might be Milhouse and Nelson talking Bart down and be like, "You're dying in there, man." Like a bad comedian, just be like, "Yeah, those bits aren't landing." And I don't know. I thought that was a lot of fun. But yeah, I think that Bart's probably my MVJ also. What did you think of the episode, Craig? Just let's get into it.
I think it's probably the worst episode the Simpsons ever did.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, no, I don't approve of any of it. I think the animation's crude. I don't know why they're yellow looking. The voices are weird. This does not fit who I am.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Surprising.
Yeah. I've never watched an episode until now, so
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. No, all joking aside, I really enjoyed this episode. We've talked about many times through season 33 that season 33 is new coming of its own Simpsons. Like they've kind of taken over what sitcoms were in the 90s. They made fun of the sitcom trope in the 90s, but now they're kind of going back to being that sitcom-y trope that we had, that we grew up with. And I think they're very much holding on to that nostalgia, because we talked about Carolyn Omine, who wrote for Full House. This is very much a Full House episode, but through the Simpsons' eyes.
Interesting. Yeah.
You could take Bart's storyline and it would be DJ being in love with one of her teachers, and then Danny at the end, instead of the teacher giving the message, Danny would say, you being in love with a teacher is just you being in love with something new about yourself. And they hug and kiss, and then he said, let's have ice cream Sundays. And like, Dad, your ice cream Sundays suck, just like Marge's. And then Bart's storyline would be like Stephanie Tanner, or Lisa's storyline is like Stephanie Tanner or Michelle falling in love with her goldfish, and then she gave it a bath and it died. And then
literal
Jesse
plot from
yeah. But what I'm saying is like, this is such a sitcom-y trope of an episode, but it's so refreshing and good because we're seeing some heart and some clarity and like positive message. Even though we love The Simpsons and we love like the joking around, I feel like, especially in this time of the world, how just everything seems kind of more bleak than it used to be. This is just like a nice, refreshing, like positive character moment. It's like Nelson being not a bully, but a friend.
Yeah.
Kerry Washington's new character, Miss Peyton. Like, I think this is a good step forward for Bart and enemy of teacher. Like now it's not that cliche of like the kid hates the teacher type of thing, but even though deep down we knew he loved Krabappel.
Right.
And I think that like that could also play into a future plot element for a story of like how he misses Kay. And like that ending too with the chalkboard kind of brings a tear to your eye. Like,
yeah, it's very sweet.
This could have been like the last episode. It could have ended with Bart writing on the chalkboard, and that's how the series ends.
Right.
And like we make, the joke all the time when we watch season 33, there's no Bart chalkboard. And like, were they just building up to this like moment, like into our fans' eye, like watching the new episodes Sunday, and like, where's the chalkboard? Where's the chalkboard? And like this could have been the season finale as well for season 33. But then I would have felt like, oh, they're just not going to use that character ever again, like they did with Sofia Vergara. I think I like this new introduction of character. There's more storyline with like, so her husband plays the oboe. Like there could be a Lisa thing where like they jam together. I don't know. There's some story to tell.
Yeah, there's potential.
Yeah, maybe they have like a divorce thing, and then like Skinner and the oboe player get together, or Dewey Largo teaches him how to put his lips around his oboe. Really enjoy this episode. I think it's up there for this season. It's in the higher range rather than the lower range. And I'm excited to see what if they, bringing Kerry Washington back as Miss Peyton. I think it's fun to bring a outsider into Springfield and maybe like slowly see her turn into like the depressed Springfield character that she is. How about you, Steve?
I think this is a really complex episode. Like they went to places they didn't really need to go. I like that, like you said, Kerry Washington is so bright-eyed and optimistic towards the concept of teaching, and she feels like very much a real person stuck in this wacky world of Springfield. So it'll offer an interesting perspective, and Bart growing out of that kind of tired trope of being like a little badass, because I don't know that that's really relevant in today's age anymore, because kids are so much more insular on their phones and whatnot, that like the idea of being like a class clown isn't really there so much. So him failing at that is really interesting. I'm really interested as to what they're doing with Lisa this season, because she's still Lisa, but she's not the moral center that she used to be. She's not always right, and she's not always doing the right thing. Like, if you think about her story, she made a false documentary because Molly didn't die, even though she implied that she did. And then her whole story is just kind of a cartoonish journey to catch Molly again and then set her free eventually, which is, maybe 10 years ago would simply be kind of more of a Bart story. So to give that to Lisa is really interesting. And then to have Bart have the emotional depth to learn that he's starting puberty and becoming more angry and more frantic and kind of growing out of boyhood and becoming a man. Like that's...
Or Barthood.
Or Barthood, yes. I think that's really interesting because he's not just, kind of what I was talking about earlier, it's not just that he's going through puberty, but it's like the little nuanced things like the anger and the fits of rage and not knowing exactly who you are. I think it shows like a more complex and more mature writing than, we may have seen. But you're also correct because it is in the framework of a more traditional sitcom plot. So it's a nice balance. I think this is a really interesting episode, and I like where they're going with it. The physical stuff was really good.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like other things Lisa's done this season, but like if like they progress the story into like they actually age the kids up, which they never would do. But like an interesting idea of like turning Lisa into the bad boy and then Bart into more maturing into his own. Like,
yeah. And then like it wouldn't have to be like exactly like an on and off switch. Like Lisa could be still smarter than Bart and just not be as successful because she's at an age where high school or middle school or whatever seems kind of unnecessary and dumb, but she's finding her own interests and kind of struggling with that. Whereas Bart still struggles with his grades, but is more compelled to do well because he's trying to find a path in life.
It'd be great to see if this progression happens. I mean, it's not going to, but I think it's, I didn't really talk much about the Lisa storyline, but I think this is fun.
Yeah, there's been a couple times this season where she's just been kind of snotty know-it-all, but she hasn't I think that, especially like a lot of people our age or who grew up growing out of Bart and finding Lisa to be a relatable character.
Right.
It's interesting that she's no less relatable, but she's not the hero that we might paint in our head. And I think that's a fun way to go.
She's like Luke Skywalker.
That's right. Only has one hand. Drinks blue milk.
Yeah. I never gave this episode a rating. So octopuses are famously known to have a tentacle, Steve? Octo?
Sure. Yeah.
I'll give this episode a 7 out of 8.
That's a very fair score. I would say that, this is also one of my higher ones from this season. And, that the kids were working on the Machu Picchu. It's from Peru, and it was built in 1450 AD. So I'm going to give this a solid 1393 out of 1450.
1393. That was a good year.
Yeah, it was a very good year for some people.
Was the Black Plague around then, or?
Probably.
Sure. Some pandemic was. I'm glad we're out of those days of pandemic.
Yeah, we're free.
We are free. And you are all free to watch this episode. I say watch it.
I also say watch it.
All right, let's find out what we're watching next week. How about that?
All right, I think we have a new episode, but I don't know the title yet.
Well, I'll let you know what it is.
All right.
Season 33, episode 19. It's titled Girls Just Shauna Have Fun. Girls Just Shauna Have Fun. What do you think this episode is about?
All right. Girls Just Shauna Have Fun. So obviously it'll feature Shauna, and she'll be interacting with somebody, but I figure that since they tend to put her with Bart, and it does say girls, I'm going to say it's Lisa and Shauna paired up. Maybe like a science project or a band thing. At first, Lisa is like skeptical, and so is Shauna. They hate each other, but kind of like we're talking about Lisa's path, she learns to respect Shauna and maybe her ways, and Shauna learns to like study harder or become a better whatever through Lisa. And then my B story, I haven't heard from Barney in a while. So Barney and Homer become food critics.
Wasn't Homer a food critic once?
Yeah, but they become the
Doughboys.
They become like Bill Oakley. They review fast food from the car.
That's probably going to happen.
Yeah, I know.
Well, you're absolutely wrong, 100%, Steve.
Geez, Steve.
Yeah, it's actually Lena Dunham wrote this episode, and it's like the Skinner and Chalmers Cincinnati episode from like a couple of seasons ago.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's that Lena Dunham's characters from Girls comes back, and Shauna goes to New York and hangs out with them.
Oh
no, that was my page. Yeah, you're like, oh god, I don't want to watch this.
I was like, I don't like that idea.
Let's watch Simpsons Bible stories instead.
Yeah.
No, actually,
watch the Scorpion's Tale.
You were very close, actually. But you're right. You said something about band, and she does. Lisa joins the high school marching band.
Oh.
And Shauna becomes her mentor.
Oh, hey.
But you're going to love this. You're going to love the B story, Steve.
All right.
Homer.
Huh?
He's the dad, right?
He is the dad.
Becomes a craft beer brewer.
Oh, boy.
Wow.
That's going to be a lot of fun.
So we're going to have to drink some craft brews next episode.
For once.
But again, I was kind of hoping you said something like, you said Barney. I almost was like, oh god, is he gonna say like brew their own beer? Then I would be a little sus that you know what this plot was.
Right. No, but I think it's cool that I guess that Lisa and Shauna are together. So,
but I want to see the episode where Homer and Barney have a podcast. So
I know. It's gonna be fun.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to next week. Hey, it was written by Jeff Westbrook.
Oh.
So go ahead and let us know what you thought of this episode. You could do it by going on Instagram, which is still owned by Facebook, and that's we still don't like Facebook, but that's at 13 Simpsons. And you could go on Supreme Leader Musk's new platform called Twitter at 13 Simpsons. Are we still on Twitter, Steve, by this episode?
For now, until we get kicked off and we get replaced with an ugly truck.
Yeah. Steve probably has better ways to contact us.
Yeah, probably just email us at 13simpsons@gmail.com.
It's our preferred method, guys.
Yeah, it's not owned. Social media is real bad. And like, I'm still on it, so I'm not better than anybody else. And I'm not like saying like you have to quit, but we should probably all just get off of it. It's not healthy. Anyway,
let's get back to email and instant messenger on AIM, right?
That's
AOL,
right.
come back.
Yeah, bring us back to the earlier days of child grooming. And you can always, if you're so kind, go to your favorite podcatching app and leave us 5 stars or the equivalent. But you don't need to write a real review. You can just tell us your favorite documentary from 2020.
And you know what the easiest way to do it actually is, and I'm thinking about it, is if you go to your favorite podcatching app that you listen to this on, through the show notes, there's actually a little button you can hit on if you're listening on your smartphone. You can just leave us a voicemail and you can just tell us how much you hate us. And then we'll probably like say, thanks, Dad.
Thank you, Daddy.
Yeah. All right. For this week, I've been an annoyed grunt boy, Craig.
And I've been an annoyed grunt boy, Steve.
And remember, I don't like you hanging out with sharks. You should have land friends.
I told him he couldn't handle the rainbow.
Warning! Alert! 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 Shutting down! Self-destruct!